Hey guys, my name is Manny Romero. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist working in Orange County, California. This channel is for me to be able to deliver strategies, conversations, questions to get you to think about ways that you can increase your life happiness, increase fulfillment, just feel better about yourself and who you are as a person overall. Um, Today, I want to get on here and talk about the coronavirus. COVID-19 is among us, right? It's alive. It's strong. It's starting to impact, the economy, jobs, businesses, all of that. Slowly, we're kind of seems like we're scaling back a little bit, and things are starting to open up. You start to see more crowds around, but besides that, I mean, I think mentally still, like a lot of us have been affected by this. There's been a lot of people who've been affected just by having, negativity, by feeling anxious, by feeling depressed. Whether you lost your job or not, feeling like you're not doing anything productive. You're just thinking about maybe um, your health, your family members' health, right? And so just kind of worrying a lot about what's going to happen, the uncertainty of the situation. So I wanted to get on here to just really get you to think about, okay, all that's happening. You turn on the news, you see every hour there's something new to be worrying about. How are you responding to the situation? I've worked in the addiction field for some time, and something that we do in the addiction field is this thing called the Serenity Prayer. I promise I'm not going to talk to you about religion, Christianity, spirituality, or any of that today. We'll save that for a different topic. But the Serenity Prayer says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, whatever beliefs you have about higher power and all that, put that to the side for a little bit. But just think about those words for a minute, right? The idea that it's very real, the idea that there's things outside of our control. COVID-19, it's outside of our control. You know, you didn't make this happen. I didn't wish this to happen to anybody and create this to happen, right? But it's here. It's among us. It's impacted us in a lot of ways, and there that we cannot control. But just because we can't control that doesn't mean we can't control everything about that. There are things that are in our circle of control, right? There's ways that we can still respond. One of those things that's in our control is our attitude. Like what kind of attitude are we taking towards this situation? And I don't want to minimize the fact that maybe some of you have lost some family members already, or are worried that this is a very real thing that can cause you to get sick enough to die. Like I get that. Um, but what I'm saying is that if you're watching this, you're not there yet, right? If you're watching this, you're still alive. You're still probably doing well. And with that, what can you do with that? How can you respond to that? Some of us have been unemployed. Some of us have lost our income. Our hours have been cut. How are you able, how are you responding to that? Are you getting yourself out there? There's not a lot of people hiring right now, but are you reinvesting in you, right? And learning something about the work you do, learning something about, the skills of a trade that you do, or learning a trade to be able to come back when the economy reopens and do something with that for your financial well-being. Are you working on your mental health? You know, having no time, having no time because we're so busy is a great excuse for us not to work on our mental health. I come across that excuse all the time. Um, Being a therapist, I know how important mental health is. Super important. It's foundational for everything that you're doing, for taking care of your family, for making sure that you're doing a good job, for making sure that you're living a long and healthy life. But a lot of people aren't able to see that. And right now, a lot of us have nothing but time on our hands. What are you doing to be able to improve your mental health? Are you reading books? Are you talking to a therapist? Are you learning about, your depression, your anxiety, maybe your responses to any trauma that you've experienced growing up. Are you actively working on yourself to feel happier, to feel productive, to feel better? Something when I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. She's a year and three or 4 months, and something that when I was on baby bonding leave, I really realized, how much going to work and having structure in my life was super important for me to feel good about myself. I was out for a month, and there was times where like I'd wake up, whatever time she would wake up, we'd be on the couch watching TV, and I'd just be thinking about, man, there's so many things I wish I would be doing right now. And I'd feel really bad about myself for not doing those things. And it would be this kind of repeating loop of like, I'm not doing anything. I feel bad that I'm not doing anything. So I don't do anything. And I just continue to go on and on and on. So to break out of that, you have to start really thinking about like, well, what do I want to do? What are some of those things that I wish I was doing right now? What are some of those things that I can put on paper and just start creating a set of goals for myself? Maybe it's taking a course online. There's a lot of people right now offering education. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's connecting with family through online applications, through video conferencing calls. Maybe it's improving your relationship with your partner, with your relationship with your kids. But where do you want to see yourself in a month? And start to create daily goals to get you there, right? Put a list down, check that thing off when you take care of it. And I think what happens is you'll accumulate a bunch of days that you've put together where you look back and you can say like, wow, it's been 5 days, it's been 2 weeks of me doing something that I wanted to do. And that's how you start to feel confident. That's how you start to feel productive, right? Some things to think about during this time. I mean, the economy is going to start to open up. The jobs are going to come back eventually. And I think the idea is for you to look back at this time and say, hey, I was working on something during this time. I was working on myself. I was helping myself so that I could come back when everything opened up, when jobs were starting to hire, and put myself in a situation to feel productive, to feel good, to move ahead, right? I don't want you looking back and saying, man, I really did nothing for those 6 months of my life, right? I really just sat there and just waited for this to be over. Because as much as things are going to start opening up pretty soon, remember, there's things we can't control. That could stop at any point, right? And so there are things you can control. Start writing down what those things are and start putting some steps into action for yourself so that you feel productive, you feel happier, you feel better, you feel more like you're doing something. All right, guys, hope that was helpful. Again, please subscribe to the page, invite people to follow, and follow me on my social media pages. And we'll talk soon. Catch you later.